In one of the wackier release schedules, Disgaea 4 is actually the third of the Disgaea series to hit the Switch, but this followed Disgaea 1, which was itself released after Disgaea 5. Still following? Each iteration improves on the last in terms of gameplay mechanics, but for me Disgaea 4 is the pinnacle of the series, and this new Complete Plus edition improves the enjoyable tactical romp with a new coat of paint and some quality of life features from Disgaea 5. Disgaea, for those new to the series, is a long-running collection of games dating back to 2003. Each release focuses on a different set of characters, although the game is always set in the demonic netherworld and involves initially working through a series of turn-based battles played out on a grid and then grinding through an incredibly deep post-game that can last hundreds of hours. Whilst each game in the series is famed for its humorous writing as much as its tactical gameplay, it's the interplay of the characters in this fourth entry that give it a special place in my gaming heart. The main story features a shamed tyrant vampire called Valvatores who promised to frighten a woman to death 400 years ago, and she died before he achieved his promise, and he was banished to Hades to work a menial job for the rest of eternity. His job is to train the penguin-like creatures called Prinnies, who are in fact human souls banished to the netherworld. After becoming obsessed with the nutritional value of sardines and making another promise to give each of the Prinnies one sardine each as a reward for graduating from his class, the Prinnies are kidnapped and earmarked for extermination by the corrupt netherworld government. Refusing to ever break another promise to anyone, Valvatores sets off on his game's story quest to rescue the Prinnies and rebel against the corruptment and regain his place as a tyrant. It's typical Disgaea anime nonsense, of course, but the excellent voice acting in the game really pulls you into the story. There is an option for Japanese voiceovers, which some fans of the series do prefer, but I thought all the English voice actors do such a good job you'd lose some of the emotion and humour if you were just reading it in translation. Following some tutorial battles, you're dropped into the hub world of Hades, and here you're free to run around as Valvatores and visit the many shops and vendors to buy new gear or upgrade your characters, as well as search for hidden treasure chests. When you're ready to continue the story, a quick visit to the portal allows you to continue the story or to pick any level you've already completed if you need to grind out some XP. The main gameplay of Disgaea takes place on a battlefield, which is made up of a grid and blocks, which means the battles can take place in varying vertical spaces. You very quickly learn how careful you have to be with not only who is in your party at any one time, but even the order in which you deploy them onto the battlefield, as sending out a weak character with nobody to protect them can make for some quick cheap deaths. Each character has a wealth of stats, from how many blocks they can move, to their attack range, elemental strengths and weaknesses, and different gear that they can have equipped. It's honestly a little bit overwhelming a lot of the time, and you'll have to have some patience if you really want to dig in and learn all of the systems at play here. If you're coming from Disgaea 1, you will notice some new additions in D4, such as being able to create a tower of demons by stacking characters on top of each other, being able to transform monsters into weapons, and even combining two monsters to become temporary giant versions of themselves. The object of each level is usually to defeat all the enemies on the map before they do the same to you, which can get a bit samey, but each level is short enough and quickly restarting is not a problem. Even if you find yourself overmatched, it's easy to duck back out to the overworld and stock up on new items, create some new characters, or even visit the Senate and request a vote from the other demons to see if you can make the game a little bit easier. Customising the gameplay to your liking, and at some point straight up cheating, is all very much in the DNA of the Disgaea series, and it's great that whilst the game can be challenging, it never takes itself too seriously. Grinding also certainly helps, with each character able to level up hundreds of times, a smorgasbord of items to collect, and even a totally separate version of the main game where you can pick any of your items and can then try to clear small randomised dungeons, each one that you clear levelling up that individual item. It's insane how many hours of gameplay you can get out of a Disgaea title, with the main story alone clocking in at somewhere between 40 to 80 hours. Graphically, Disgaea 4 is a treat on the whole, with bright colourful characters and a wide variety of gear to show off. Sometimes it can be a little bit too colourful though, and in some of the tighter levels, like those found in the item world section of the game I described earlier, are so busy and bright it can be hard to see what's going on at times, which can get frustrating. Sound wise, everything good here with the excellent voice acting.
Listen to this, Fenric. Sardines are the most ideal food because they are full of nutrients, like omega-3 fatty acids.
And a variety of anime-style music tracks, so no complaints here at all. Fully explaining all the ins and outs of a Disgaea title is pretty impossible in a short review. If you're a fan of turn-based tactical games such as Mario and Rabbids, and dress that up in completely over-the-top anime presentation, then it will give you a rough idea of what to expect from any Disgaea game. Whilst considering its age, 4 is not quite as nicely presented as the more modern-looking Disgaea 5, but I still think this is the version I would pick up from the soon-to-be 3 available on the eShop. The characters are more likeable than those in Disgaea 5, making it more engaging to play for long periods, and the battle system is more advanced than the far more basic Disgaea 1, though it doesn't quite have all the added features that made it into Disgaea 5. There may be no better game on the eShop in terms of value for money than Disgaea, and this Complete Plus edition has all the previously released DLC too, and is very likely receiving a post-launch update to add in some social features like a level editor with online sharing. For fans of tactical games, I just cannot recommend this game enough. I'm going to be giving Disgaea 4 Complete Plus on the Nintendo Switch a superb 9 out of 10. Well, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. And if you did, why not drop me a thumbs up and a subscribe below, it'd be really appreciated. But all that's left to say is until next time, I'll see you again soon. Thanks guys, bye bye.